Hello, greetings. That's it. Yay, so good. So welcome everybody to the Buddha Field in the Web morning Yoga Nidra practice. Welcome to those streaming live on Facebook. Hello out there in the world of Facebook, and welcome to you lovely people. Oh, let me let them in the waiting room. Admitting everybody in. And yeah, this morning is an opportunity to be in deep rest. Lovely, welcome. Welcome everybody. You're also welcome into our circle of belonging. This is a circle of belonging, a virtual circle. And we're glad to welcome you here and to let you know that you don't have to do anything. There's nothing that you need to do. That's the amazing and wonderful thing about Yoga Nidra. It's a meditation, lying down meditation, a heart-based meditation, and all that you need to do is to be able to hear. So I will take a little moment just to check in with the sound and make sure it's possible for you all to hear me. Can I get a little thumbs up if my voice is audible to you? And then, yeah, and there's my voice. There'll also be later, you'll hear the voice of my other half, Nirlipta, who'll be coming and sharing practice with us about halfway through. And there's also these sounds. This is the sound of my little hand pan coming live to you from Essex this morning. Essex and Stroud, Nirlipta's in Stroud and I'm in Essex. So are you comfortable? That's the main thing. With Yoga Nidra, you know, there isn't anything to do. The other sounds you'll hear, so these ones are audible, this is all good. And there'll be a few little chimes as well, this kind of thing. And they're not too loud. Let me know if it, I keep my eyes on the chat box. So if you need to communicate with me or with Nirlipta, then that's something you can do through the chat box. But I think if we keep these at the back, they won't be too loud. And that's it. Sounds good. Thank you very much for the feedback. That's helpful. Yeah, I keep them away so it's not too loud. So this is what will happen. I'm admitting Nirlipta in. He's in here. There we go. So welcome Nirlipta. So other voice for this evening, for this morning. So do you just want to check in Nirlipta so people are familiar with your voice? Do you want to greet everyone?
Good morning, everyone. This is my voice. Please do be familiar with it. You'll hear it in about half an hour. Yeah,
lovely. So okay. All that you need to do, thanks Nirlipta, all you need to do is to be absolutely comfortable. Absolutely comfortable. We seem to have, Anushka seems to be the co-host. Let me just change that around a little bit. I got to make one little technical shift, which is to change the co-host. I don't know, Nirlipta's supposed to be the co-host and not Anusha. Ah, that's it. Thank you. I think, yeah, all sounds good. All right, lovely. So, yeah, I'm not. Oh, that's good. All sorted. All the technical stuff is sorted. Nirlipta is the co-host and me. Lovely. So welcome home to yourselves, everyone. First thing is to feel that you're going to be warm enough and that you can lay your bones down upon this earth. And as you lay down, you can feel all the places where the body is receiving your weight. So the remarkable and wonderful thing about Yoga Nidra is that it's possible to meditate lying down. This is what we do in Yoga Nidra. We meditate lying down upon the act of falling asleep. So if you do fall asleep, that's totally fine. But if you can remain conscious and aware, you'll find yourselves hovering in a liminal space. And that liminal space is assisted by the horizontality of this experience. So just notice when you lie down, what parts of this body are settling into the earth as you come home to yourself. Welcome home to yourself. Welcome home to yourself. Welcome home to yourself. And welcome to this practice of total Yoga Nidra in our virtual circle of belonging. And every one of you is welcome. Welcome simply to be here and to feel how it is for the body to be settled and to be received. As if you could give away the weight of this body, give away the weight of this body, give away the weight of this body down into the earth herself. Each place where you find the body touching the surface beneath, whatever that surface may be, and however you choose to lie, that's your business. You can lie whatever way you like, on your back, on your side. You can rest over on your belly if you like. And if you feel the need to move during the practice, that's also welcome. And there's no need to be still, but you may find that stillness creeps over the body and into every bone, joint, and organ. Every bone, joint, and organ. And in this settling process, check that you're warm enough, because your body temperature will definitely drop. Usually it drops by about 10 degrees sometimes. I mean, maybe not quite that much, but quite a bit. The body temperature will drop. So a lot of you looking snuggled up under your blankets there, and that's good. So keeping cozy, keeping warm, and settling, and settling, and settling. And as you notice the places where the body's received by the earth beneath, as the body is received by the earth beneath, you could let out the sound of ah. Ah, settling, settling, settling. Ah, a big sound of ah. Ah. And that ah sound, it could be as loud as you like. The ah sound releases the weight of the body down on the out breath, as if every breath out could let this body settle a little deeper into the surface beneath, and sense that beneath that surface, whatever that surface is, beneath that surface is the earth herself. The earth herself. The earth herself. Receiving, receiving, receiving the weight of this body. So welcome. You are welcome here. Welcome home to yourself. And welcome to knowing that there's nothing to do. You have arrived. And you are in exactly the right place. At precisely the right moment. With precisely the right people gathered around in this circle of belonging. And in this circle of belonging right now, there isn't anything to do. There's nothing to do. There's no expectations upon you. There isn't anybody to please, and there are no deadlines to meet. There is nothing to be achieved. Nothing is required of you. Simply to be here is enough. And to be here without having to do anything. In fact, you know, there isn't any way to do this wrong, because there isn't anything to do. There's nothing to do. And in this nothing to do-ness, you can simply be. You can drop out of the doing and the thinking and drop into the being, and maybe to drop back into the dreaming world from which perhaps you have not so far distantly come. So if you find yourself drifting off to sleep, that's also fine. If you find yourself needing to move, that's also fine. But what you may discover is that simply resting here, resting here, resting here in this space, in this openness of awareness, which is Yoga Nidra, then you can simply be between the acts of sleeping and waking. Is this space, this openness, simply being in this space and noticing all the sounds. You hear all the sounds. There are sounds coming through this broadcast, but there are also sounds coming into the space where this body rests. So wherever you're resting, you may hear sounds above you. You may hear sounds beneath you. You may hear sounds to the east, sounds to the west, sounds to the north, and sounds to the south. Sounds above, sounds beneath, and sounds without, and sounds within. And all of these sounds from all of these directions are welcome, honoring all of these directions as the sounds come in from the spaces outside the ears to the spaces inside the ears. And might you feel that? Some of the sounds are very loud, and some of the sounds are very quiet. And some of the sounds are very far away. And some of the sounds are very close. And maybe the closest sound of all would be the sound of the breath. And it's as if that sound is at the center of a great big circle, a circle in which you're resting at the center. And at the center of this circle of sound, welcome home to yourself. And welcome to all of the sounds which can be heard. Because they're all welcome. And you know, the sweeter the welcome for all of the sounds, the deeper the settling into this space of awareness, which is Yoga Nidra. So with a kindly, friendly welcome for all of the sounds, whatever they may be, and they may change, there may be different sounds as we move through the practice. And whatever sounds there are, it's almost as if we can drop beneath them. And as you drop beneath them, it's as if the sounds continue far away at the far reaches of this circle of sound, and you come into this space where you just simply hear the sound that is closest to you. And that sound is probably the sound of the breath, or maybe the sounds inside the body. And you welcome those sounds, welcoming those sounds, and welcoming the sound of the breath coming in. And maybe you could feel the cycles of these sounds, the cycles of these sounds, and the cycle of the breath, a little bit like the whole of the cycle of the day. Do you welcome the sound of the breath as almost like when it comes in, like the dawn arising as the breath comes in, and then as the breath leaves, you might notice that could be a little bit like the dusk as the breath goes out. So breathing around the cycle of the day, the circle of the day, the inhaling being the dawn, and the exhaling, the dusk. And each breath, like a whole cycle of a whole day. Inhaling dawn and exhaling dusk. And maybe you could notice when the breath is fully in, that would be like the middle of the day, the full bright noon when the breath is fully in. And then as the breath goes out after the dusk in this cycle of the day of the breath, the next time the breath goes all the way out, you might notice that's a bit like the nighttime of the breath. The nighttime of the breath. When all the breath has gone out, and just before the dawn of the next inhalation, you can notice that turning. Noticing the dawn of the inhaling breath. And noticing the dusk of the exhaling breath. And noticing also the height of that breath fully in, like the noon. And the depths of that breath fully out, like the nighttime. So breathing around this cycle of the day effortlessly at whatever sweet pace it comes in its own sweet time. You know, some days are longer than others. Some nights are shorter than others. And so noticing the breath and inviting an easy cycling, an easy cycling of this breath all the way through, over and over and over. And as the cycling of the breath continues, it's as if the whole of the world of this body could be visited by the light of awareness, as if you could drop back into the exhale of the night time of the breath. And almost as if, maybe not so long ago when this body was asleep, the whole body could become like a night sky when you exhale. The exhale into the night time of the breath, allowing for the whole body to settle into being a night sky of the body. And there may be tiny little stars could shine in the night sky of the body. And wherever it would be that the awareness travels, wherever it is that the awareness travels, maybe a little star could shine there. A star on the space between the two eyebrows, perhaps. And maybe seeing that little star there, like a glimpse of the starlight, or simply feeling the awareness resting there in the night sky of the body. And a little star shining between the two eyebrows. And on the crown of the head. On the crown of the head. And as the face rests and the tongue rests, because you know nothing needs to be said. And as the eyes rest, and the cheeks are soft and the forehead is soft, the awareness can travel around the night sky of the body, visiting again that space between the two eyebrows, a little star there. Visiting again now that space between the eyebrows. And then the light could travel down between the two collarbones, just at the base of the throat there, maybe noticing that space, as if a little star was shining there. And from that space between the two collarbones, at the base of the throat, to bring the awareness over to the left shoulder, and another little star in the night sky of the body could shine there, and then the left elbow, and then down into the palm of the left hand. Maybe each finger in turn. Could you feel each finger in turn? Receiving the awareness there and receiving this sense of a little star shining. Tip of the left thumb, tip of the index finger, and the middle finger, and the ring finger, and then the little finger. And all of the 5 little stars in the night sky of the body shining at the tips of the fingers and the thumb on the left hand. And then the awareness could travel through this night sky of the body, from the left hand to the wrist, and from the wrist to the elbow, and from the elbow up into the shoulder and back to that space between the two collarbones. Another little star there. And let the awareness travel through the night sky of the body over to the right shoulder and down through the right elbow and into the right wrist. So the whole of that right arm receives these 3 little stars shining in the night sky of the body. In the right arm and all the way down into the right hand. into the tip of the right hand thumb. And from the tip of the right hand thumb, the awareness could travel to each fingertip in turn, shining the star there. Tip of the right hand thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and the little finger. And then all the way through that hand could shine the light of these stars. 4 fingers on the right hand, the tip and the thumb, and the 5 little stars shining there in the right hand. And then back up, visiting the stars in the right wrist and the elbow, and then all the way through. Turn back to the space between the 2 collarbones. Stars in the night sky of the body as the body rests. And down along the breastbone. Little star shining in the center of the middle of the breastbone. And over to the left side of the chest. And then back to the center. And then over to the right side of the chest. And back to the center. In each of those places, a little star shining. A little star shining there. And then back in that center by the middle of the breastbone, a star shining and down over the belly, at the navel, a star. In the night sky of the body, a little star. Maybe a glimpse of a star, or just the feeling of the awareness there. And then on down through the pelvis to the pubic bones and over to the left hip and all the way down the left leg, little stars shining from the left hip to the left knee, down into the ankle, and each toe in turn receiving the light of awareness like a little star shining there. Left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe. 5 little stars shining in the night sky of the body on the left foot. And then allowing that awareness to travel up from the little stars shining in the toes on the left foot, back up through the ankle, and all the way through into the knee and the left hip. As the body rests, night sky of the body filling with stars over to the right hip. And down from that star at the right hip to the right knee and the ankle and into the right foot. And each toe in turn could you receive the awareness at each toe as if a little star was shining there, or simply feeling the awareness resting. Right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and the little toe. So that the whole of the right foot is 5 little stars shining there. 5 little stars shining there. And the awareness could travel back up from those stars, back up through the right ankle, into the knee, into the hip and the pubic bone, and then into the belly, revisiting the star shining at the belly and at the breastbone. And then all the way back up to that little space between the 2 collarbones. A star shining there. And from there, to the space between the two eyebrows, revisiting the star shining there, all the way from the eyebrow space to the space at the crown of the head. And there, the star shines and the awareness travels from the crown of the head and the space in the head to the space between the two eyebrows, that little star, and returning to the space between the two collarbones and coming home to the space in the middle of the breastbone. There's star shining there, and all these stars shining, resting the awareness at the space of the heart, breastbone, and then allowing the awareness to be with all of the stars, of all of the spaces in the whole of the night sky of the body. Be aware of the stars and of the spaces between them. Do you notice the stars and the spaces between them? And all of those spaces and all of those places simply being in this space of awareness, which is Yoga Nidra. And in this openness of awareness, which is Yoga Nidra, it's enough simply to be with the places and the spaces, with the stars and the night sky. And just to be here is enough. And to notice the light of awareness traveling through the body, through these stars and these spaces. As if the light of the awareness, like the starlight, could illumine the physical body. And the breath could travel from one place to the next. Flowing like the streams of starlight from one place to the next. And that you could feel maybe the stars shining their light upon the earth beneath, the earth of the body resting. And with that earth beneath the body, you could feel your awareness traveling, perhaps now back into feeling the body resting upon the earth, and to noticing those places where the body rests upon the earth. Perhaps into those places where you could feel the body being received by the earth and the breath moving through the body, so that you come to a place where you can make a choice in this liminal space, this openness of awareness, which is Yoga Nidra. You might choose at this point, halfway through the practice as we are, you might choose to move, to wriggle, to roll over to the side maybe, but you might choose simply to remain in stillness as the breath shifts through the body and flows through the body, and the body rests upon the earth. No intention other than simply to be resting in this openness of awareness and to be listening, not just to my voice now, but also to the voice of Nirlipta.
Speaking mostly now for the second half of the practice. If you want to remain as you are, well and good. If you want to move into a more comfortable position, also well and good. And I'll talk to you a bit more. And you can carry on resting there and lying there. And we'll go on a journey, if that is all right with you. A journey to the garden, or to a garden of your imagination in the second half of the practice. So breathe into more comfort. Feel that you can be as you would like to, simply listening and lying there, breathing and being. As you do that, I'll guide your awareness on this journey to a very special place, to a magical garden. So as you lay there, at the same time, you can be standing on a lawn in front of a high garden wall. You may be wearing shoes of some kind or some other footwear, or be barefoot, feeling the grass beneath your feet. It's a quiet, familiar, and friendly place. The weather, just as you like it. Your favorite time of day. The wall of this garden is high enough that it can't be seen into. It's quite private, and there's a door or a gate constructed in such a way that it cannot be seen through. Somehow you know that it's locked. At the same time, you might realize that you have a key to unlock this door or gate, and you can go in. The sound of my voice can accompany you as companion, as guide. After you enter, the entrance closes, and it's a very lovely place, this garden. You can wander around within it. You can feel the ground beneath your feet and the air on your skin, the different fragrances that you can smell there, the wonderfulness of the air, the sounds of the garden, the different textures. It's a very pleasing to the eye garden. And you walk further and further within this place. It's been created. It's your garden. It's the garden of your mind, if you like. As I said before, it's a magical garden there, just for you. Just for you. And how that is. As you wander, perhaps in a state of wonder, further and further within it. There's a stream in front of you. It's the most elegant of streams. So you can see the flow of the current of water going from one direction to the other. The water's clear, It's not too deep. You can cross it quite easily. And you can see this current of water because there are little bits of garden flotsam and jetsam, maybe twigs or leaves, just being carried along by the current, and you maybe hearing the sound of this water in the stream burbling away. It can be very soothing just to be by the stream, to hear its sound, to see the current, to notice that it goes all the way to the wall of the garden over there, and it travels out of the garden. There's a little hole in the wall for the stream to exit. It just feels really good. The water of the garden, of the stream, is really delicious, thirst quenching. You can cross over the stream to the other side, then wander further and further along within, deeper into the garden. And just over there, with its own distinct boundary, there's another garden. Within this garden, you can head toward it. You can go in. And it's a kind of orchard. And interestingly, it's bigger on the inside than it seemed to be on the outside. There are many things that are growing here. Some have been planted a long time ago, and they've reached maturity, or fruit, blossomed, or blossoming. Others are still growing, and you can see their blossoms and fruit ripening. Some are young saplings or bushes that have a long way to go, but are thriving well. There's even a patch of earth in this place that is prepared or being prepared for planting of new seeds, new growth that will bear fruit. Gardener's tools nearby, a wheelbarrow, even a little gardener's bonfire. If you like, you can help prepare this garden, this part of the garden, or even watch as the garden tends to itself and does this. There are some seeds that can be planted. And you can plant one or more of these seeds if you like, and let the garden do it. Bed the seeds down into the earth, bedding them down into the earth, watering them, and even feeling quite pleased, knowing that there will be new growth. A little way over there is a place in this garden where you can take your ease, where you can rest. It's a splendid spot. You've got a good view of the orchard. Feels very comfortable. You can take your ease and rest deeply there. If you like, part of you can rest deeply there and let this garden continue to simply look after you, to cherish you and nurture you. And as part of you rests there, another part of you can wander further into the orchard. In a clearing up ahead, you can see that there is another garden. And you can enter this garden that has its own distinct boundaries. And as you enter into this garden, which seems a little smaller on the outside, you discover that it's much bigger again on the inside. And in this garden, which has its own distinct topography, geography, even weather, time of day, you can explore safely and easily the features of the terrain, of the landscape. And you can just notice how pleasing this is. You can discover things within this garden that are new, that are familiar, that are pleasing. Wandering within this garden, we can come to another place, again, where you can rest. It's quite a meditative place, a contemplative place, where you can be, and you can rest there. You can sit there, or lie there, or stand there, breathing in the air, aware of the breath coming in, going out. But there is a quality of stillness, a certain kind of silence. It's very satisfying. Of course, there are noises and the activity of the garden. As you focus on the breath coming and going, there may be a sense within of another kind of stillness and silence that can be quite pleasing. There are thoughts going on, and there are feelings there in the background. And there is this silence and stillness, this quality which is rather more than can be described, but it's very familiar, peaceful. And this part of you can remain here, engaged in this part of the garden, in this contemplative way. And another part can move on and on. Up ahead, yet another garden wall. You can see how small it is. And if you like, you can go around it. You can remain where you are. You can enter into this smaller garden as you like. It's your choice, your garden. I'm just pointing out some features of it. So in this smaller garden, if you choose to enter it, it's a pond. And it's small enough, this pond. It may seem circular. It may have another shape, but I'll describe it as circular. It's small enough that you can see the other side of the pond. And there's a bench there. If you like, you can sit on it by the shore of this pond and look down into the water. And sometimes, as right now perhaps, the water is still and reflective. And somehow, whatever time of day it is, on the surface of this pond can be seen the reflection of stars in the heavens. And perhaps they're the stars that were there before when you traveled around the body, the stars of the body or the stars of the Milky Way or some other stars. So the surface of the pond is dark and reflecting this multitude of stars twinkling, reflecting what's above. Sometimes what happens is that the movement of weather means that there are waves on the pond. And the pond can seem like a sea. And the sea is always moving, even when it's calm. There are waves rippling. And it's easy to become absorbed in the movement of the water, of the waves. And the pond can seem like a sea or an ocean, vast and limitless, going all the way to the horizon, even though it's also a smaller round pond, whose other side can be seen clearly. A paradox that can be experienced quite straightforwardly. And this body of water has depths, deep and profound. Of course, it's a metaphor for your deeper mind. And this pond, this sea, the depths of the waters, you can sense them and be soothed by their presence, sitting there, standing or lying there. And even though it might be daytime, you can also be aware of the stars up above, which are always there. You can be in your own space, in this space, by this pond, with its waters that can run still and deep, or that can be like a sea, sometimes calm, sometimes stormy, all sorts of different weather happening there, aware of the depths of this place that is contained by the edges of the pond, and also signifies a deeper part of your mind that's connected to what it's connected, something beyond words, the sky above, the heavens above, and the stars up there. Who knows? But it can feel very pleasing being here. Or if you've decided to remain in the garden outside, contemplatively, that can be pleasing too. Or if you're resting, still resting in the garden outside that one, in the orchard, that too can be pleasing. Even further out, the first garden that you became aware of on this little journey is still there, still growing, still thriving, nurturing and nourishing you, as all of them are in their own ways. It's a garden that every time you come to, can change, can grow, can be pleasing in different ways for you. You can take your ease, or you can rest, be nourished, refreshed, as you like, as you like. And you can be in one of these gardens or all of these gardens. You can be aware of lying here in this room, listening to the sound of my voice in the background. And at the same time, you can be there, resting deeply or appreciating the beauty of the garden, the quality of the air, the sounds, the smells. You can be in any of these gardens, or all of them, or none of them. It's your experience. To be as you like, for a little while longer. You can draw strength, you can draw sustenance, just from being aware of being in your own place, in your own experience, with your own breath coming in, going out, over and over and over again. How that is, what that's like. And if you find that it's more helpful to be in this space, in this room, hearing the sound of my voice, being aware of this garden, the gardens within the garden, vividly or remotely, within, nearby, distantly, and having the experience of being like in a daydream, of being here and there, comfortable and comforted by this place, by these places, accessible only to you, safe and sound, hale and hearty, thriving and flourishing in their own ways. And as I said before, you can come back to these places when you listen to this practice again, or when you are in this space of mind again. You can use your breath, breathing along the spine, breathing up and breathing down, breathing in, breathing out, remembering the breath is always there, always with you, coming and going. You can be. In a little while, as this practice draws to a close, you can just continue resting there. If that suits you, you can carry on resting there. You can be there, and you can gradually and slowly begin the process of coming back, taking all the time that you need to do that. No hurry. Free on this Sunday morning to rest there. Just enjoy prospect of the rest of the day, the memory of the night preceding, and of this practice. If you like, you can let the glow, the resonance of this practice stay with you for some time, if that suits you. As you realize that we're coming towards the end of the practice, you can begin to gently reorient yourself to your everyday, or if it suits you, you can remain in that space, or you can be in both. You can be there, you can be here. You can maybe let the toes wiggle if you like, and the fingers and thumbs. You can let the ankles move and the wrists, and stretch a limb here and a limb there if you like, if you want to. You don't have to. And you can have what might be termed appendicular stretching, which is just however your body feels to move it and stretch it in a way that suits you. And if you want to carry on resting there, that's fine as well. And we'll say that this practice is coming to its conclusion, it's coming to an end. So you can take your time to withdraw from there, to come back here as you like, to come back, come back, come back. As we have a few more minutes, if you have any queries or observations from here, you can chat in the chat box if you like, or you can unmute yourself if you want to. Just make sure that when you come back, if you're coming back later rather than now, that you are in fact grounded, lucid, focused here on Sunday morning, ready to carry on for the rest of the day. In between there and here. Go back, Maria. Thank you for your comment, Aiden. Glad that you've been enjoying. I think Uma's sessions on Facebook have finished, but mine are still carrying on the Yoga Nidra network. And of course, you can listen to these. You should be able to, well, does it download them or listen to them over and over again? So there you go. Here we are. The end of the session, beginning of the rest of the morning. To you, Hilly. Tanya. I'm glad that you've been coming, Tanya. So make sure, those of you who are still resting, that you come back reoriented to where you are in your place, where you are in your day, where you are in yourselves. And take good care of yourselves for the rest of the day. And to those of you in Trafford House, a good morning to you. Right, I think it's probably time for me to stop just in a moment or so. So I wish you all well. Take care. Bye for now.